Hi guys, it's Belle here and it is Monday. So it is time for Margarete Miller Monday and we are on week 14. By the way, if you can hear some noise and running around and jingling in the background, Binksy seems to be having zoomies, my sweet little cat Binksy. So you may hear all that noise. So a sunset, well, this works perfectly because last week I actually took a picture of a sunset when we were on our way home. A pair of shoes, so I got these out of a vintage children's book. A crossword puzzle or Sudoku, well, it speaks for itself. A floral motif from a book or a magazine. This is actually left over from a Daphne's diary, and I think I used this last year in one of my makes. A piece of aluminium, like from a candy wrapper. Well, I don't know if this is the same thing, but we often call aluminium over here like tin foil, and that made me think of foil, which made me think of gilding flakes. So that's what I'm going to use instead. And bonus, some rubber stamping. I have a few options for some rubber stamping. So images that I've done already. So we are going to get on with all of that. Now, the first thing I need to do is work out, I think I want this here. I was even wondering about bringing it down and having some of the white. We could even do it that way so we get more of the flower maybe. Let's rip across here and see what we think. Don't like that bit there. Yeah, I just thought maybe we'd work with some white space. I don't know. I may change my mind on that. But I was wondering about some white space. This has got lots of red and oranges in it, which really does work well with the photo that I have, which is nice. Could do it that way. I don't want it that way. I feel like I want it this way. I do want the whole flower, so let's sort of rip down here. And then we've got to do something to this before I carry on. I'm thinking I might put it over that, over the pink. And we can rip and tear a bit more and punch the holes through it, so that's not a problem. Maybe we rip some more of this. That'll be more of the white space that I'm looking for. And then this can go up further. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I'm making this smaller and smaller and smaller. So I was just thinking we don't work with white space a lot, but there's white here. And I've decided that I quite like doing borders around pictures because it helps them stand out a little bit. So if we've got white space on the background, as this is a pure white page, that's better. I knew I was looking for a certain type of rip. Then that would work better. And this is going to be about here. And the reason I need to know this is because we're going to bring in the gilding flakes. And I've got to decide where I want them brought in realistically. I almost feel like round these is where I want them brought into. Now, if you haven't used gilding flakes before, they're quite simple to kind of use, but you do need to do certain techniques. So I'm going to need more glue if I want this gilding flakes to be all over this. There are special glues that you can buy if you want to work with gilding flakes. I just use this glue and I've not really had a problem with it. So that's fine for me. I also thought the gilding flakes would work well with the sunset idea, especially the ones I have that are lots of different colours. So yeah, right, I'm going to do that. And then I'm thinking I want to come on with maybe a little bit of a brush. I don't want as much glue as all this. You can, it's not a problem. And I also don't need it to be perfect because It's a collage, and that's okay if it's not perfect. Yeah, it works with the colours in the sunset. That's what I'm thinking. So how perfect was that? I'm now going to put it in here. So I've had these Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. These are the Autumn Leaves one, if you are interested. I mean, it looks like all little bits here, but actually look at those colours. And I'm just going to put them on to all the bits. I will warn you, gilding flakes get everywhere. So it is best to try and do them like this in something where you can catch them and possibly then put them back in your pot. Now I also like to just press down. So you're supposed to leave the glue for a little while to kind of go tacky. Best technique, but again, you'll see it'll work with either of these. Right, now I'm going to put that to the side and we're going to work on something else. The next thing we're going to work on is we're going to work on these shoes. Now, I want these shoes, if I can find my pen, I want these shoes to have embossing on them. Gilding flakes everywhere now. Which pen is this? This I'm hoping should work. I want some, let me check. Yep. I want some to emboss these because I am very well known since I was a teen, really. I love red boots and red shoes, but in particular red boots. And right now, for the past year or so, I have had an amazing pair of red boots that sparkle. And I wear them nearly all the time if I can get away with it. I am going to use some Heat It Up holographic embossing powder, PWR 7051. So I want these to have that slightly shiny, glittery feel that my boots do. I just adore my boots. They're like one of my favourite things in the world, in my wardrobe. They just make me happy whenever I put them on. And as I mainly wear black, they go with practically everything in my wardrobe. Okay, I'm going to put this away and then we are going to heat emboss, or I am going to heat emboss this. I could have just used a plain embossing, but what I hope this does is give it that shiny feel that I want. So I'm just going to heat emboss these and then I'll come back. Okay, so I am so happy with that. I'm hoping you can see that they do sparkle a little bit. They've got like purple and gold in them, so they really do work well with the sunshine thing. I don't know if I'm going to cut them out from here or not. I mean, I've made that a bit messy now, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I may cut them out, so we're going to see how that goes. And realistically, we need to bring, they may not be completely dry yet, but we need to bring the gilding flakes back. As I said, these will go everywhere. Now, again, you can get special brushes to go along with gilding flakes. I have always used this. This is my Perfect Pearls brush by Ranger. And it is so, do you see how soft that is, guys? Like, it is so soft. Look at that. And that's what you need. If you have something at home that is very soft like this, there might even be a makeup brush or something, this works wonders. And I just go on and I very gently start doing this in a circular motion. Again, it probably should have been left to dry for a bit longer, but we're going to give it a go anyway. And you can already see that it's bringing off the gilding flakes. And yeah, it's just super soft, which means it's not pulling up any of those gilding flakes. It's just smoothing everything down. This stuff does get everywhere. So just be aware of that. I love gilding flakes. I've said repeatedly, so if you've been here any length of time, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I have had this one set of gilding flakes for years now. And I have used it in so many journals and projects and things like that. So, you know, as long as you are going to, let's move this, like literally, can you see that flying? I need to be so careful. Need to clean all that up. As long as you are using it sparingly and in a way that you can put back anything that you've used that you don't need anymore. Let's just tap my brush. I want to go over with a final kind of rubbing of it, just to kind of make sure everything's blended together. But look at that. Look at the colours. This is why I love the autumn leaves one. We've got blues and greens and bronzes and silvers and golds, and again that works so well with the idea of the sunset. And that's gonna, oh, that's last week's. We're gonna bring this in here. I want the flower up more. I wanted that. And we know where we're going to place it because it's going to be placed on those gilding things. Okay, let's get this stuck down in a way that I can then start working more on here. So as to the picture, firstly, like I said, how serendipitous that I didn't even know it said sunset, and the picture I already knew. Well, I had a choice of two, but the one I was thinking of was this sunset one, and then it said sunset, a sunset. So basically last week it was my middle son's birthday, so we had travelled down to him, or travelled up to him, or just travelled to him, whichever way it is, to see him on his birthday and to celebrate his birthday with him, go out for a meal. We were taking his brother back anyway, because his brother, this brother, had been at mine for about 4 or 5 days because it had been Mother's Day and he'd come to stay and everything. And we were taking him back, and obviously to celebrate his brother's birthday. And it was a lovely day. We had a nice meal, we did presents, we just spent time together, and then as we were about to leave, we've been having a few issues with our car. It's getting very frustrating because no one seems to know what the issue is. So it's already been at the mechanics a couple of times, and we have very good mechanics. Like, we've known them for years and years and years, and they've always been really good mechanics. And so it's been in the mechanics 2 times so far, until obviously this, with the exact same issue, and they've fixed everything that should be causing the issue, and yet there still seems to be an issue. So they are completely confused as to what on earth's going on, and we are completely confused as to what on earth is going on. I need to bring in my crocodile because obviously I need to have the holes in this so it can go in the journal. So anyway, we were about to come home, and we have at least an hour journey ahead of us, and our car wouldn't work. And we were like, okay, well, maybe it'll be fine in a minute. And it wasn't. So we're like, well, what do we do? Because we're kind of stuck here. We can't get home. We need to get home. And the car's playing up again. So Annoying. I want to use that because we've got that little bit there and I don't like it. And so we had to call out, obviously, rescue and all that kind of thing to take us and our car home. And I've never been in that situation before. I've never been in one of the recovery vans or anything. Quite an experience, I tell you, especially as the windows are massive. And as we were coming home out of the window, because we're higher up, because it's a recovery vehicle, I could see a lot more, which was fascinating because these are roads I travel every other week, and I saw things on the way home that I haven't really seen before because obviously a recovery vehicle is much higher than a car. And the sun was setting, and I remember taking this picture out of the window just thinking, what a beautiful sunset. It's really orange and everything. And yeah, so that's what I did whilst I was enjoying the ride home, as it were. I'm wondering, I'm going to go stitch around this because I feel like we need some stitching. Okay, so there we go. And I do think, do you see how that stands out much more now? I mean, we just have to be thankful for small blessings, don't we? Because realistically, it wasn't too cold. It wasn't the warmest day in the world, but it wasn't too cold. And it wasn't raining or anything. And our recovery service was there actually really quickly, considering. And do I want some white down here? We're going to have some shoes down there. And there was no traffic on the way home. So we got home really quickly after a very, very long day. And I got to have an experience I've never had before. Obviously, I would have preferred to be in my own car, but I got to have an experience I've never had. And I got to... wondering about bringing in some white down there, and I got to see things I don't normally see, and we got to see a beautiful sunset. So all that to say, you know, it could have been worse, couldn't it? So we need to be thankful that it wasn't. And yeah, so I took a picture of the sunset because I was just looking out the window thinking, how beautiful is that sunset? Stunning. And it helped make a bit of a stressful day or moment. We can put that up there. A bit more joyful, which is what matters. So, and then I come on to get ready for these prompts and it says a sunset. And I'm like, see guys, everything kind of fits into place. We still don't know what's wrong with the car. We took it straight in. We actually phoned our mechanic whilst we were waiting to get picked up. Immediately arranged for it to be taken in. They took it in. They changed something else without charging us because they were like, well, you know, let's see if this was an issue and let's change that for you. And then we picked it up. We were like, oh yeah, no, this feels much, much better. And then, and the mechanic hadn't had any problems. And then literally within maybe an hour, the same issue started again. So we had to take it back to the mechanics, and the mechanic is just kind of like scratching his head like, it's fine when you leave here. And we're like, yeah, we know it's fine, but then it just decides it doesn't want to be fine anymore, and I don't know what to do with that. And we need a car. I mean, you know, we do a lot of traveling up and down and stuff. It's just frustrating because they then took it back in after it had been in. Literally the next day they took it back in, and then they were like, we've had it running, we've driven it all around, we really can't see an issue. And then we got it back, and then once again within about an hour or so, we started to have an issue. So trying to find some double-sided sticky tape right now. There it is. So it's going back in on Monday, and they're going to see if they can run another diagnostic, because the car doesn't stop working, but it's just difficult to drive, and I do not want to be driving a car which suddenly stops on a roundabout or suddenly stops on a motorway or something like that. I don't want to be doing that. It causes me anxiety and stress. Yeah. So anyway, that is why I have the picture of the sunset. But it's very frustrating, because when you've had a mechanic this has been his career for over 40 years or whatever, and we've had a lot of different types of cars, lots of old cars, especially early on. So we get to know, oh, well, that feels like it's such and such that we've had happen before, and they've already gone in and changed all the things that would normally cause this problem. Then you just kind of look and think, what is it? I started getting paranoid it was me, because every time I was getting in the car, it seemed to be happening. And I'm not great around electronic things. They tend to play up around me as it is. I might leave this on the yellow, but rip it. Let's see how we feel. Because we can always rip it, and then if we don't like it, we can then cut the shoes out. But if we cut them out, we can't then change our mind. So let's do that. And again, it picks up some of the yellow like in the picture and some of the gold there. So let's see what I think of that. Although that would cover up nearly all of the crossword. You knew what I was trying to say anyway, didn't you? So yeah, kind of an issue. I feel like I do want the yellow, but I don't want to cover up all of the crossword. We could always put them up there, couldn't we? And we could put something else down here. Let's think about that. I feel like I want them down here, but we could put them up there. And if we cut them out, we could just put them on the crossword. Let's end up cutting them out. We tried something. I'm not sure I liked it. We have got this stamped image of this girl taking a photograph, which I thought worked really well. Actually, she's wearing a pair of sandals as well. But I thought this worked quite well, because obviously it's me taking a photograph. Kind of like her up there. Let's cut out the shoes. Yeah. So frustrating. So they need to run a full diagnostic to see if what it could be. But we are supposed to be picking up our son, whose birthday it just was, on next week. Well, a few days after this video goes up, because he is on April half term, April break, the Easter break from uni, and he's coming home for a week. So we're supposed to be picking him up and everything, and that's going to be a problem if we don't have a car. So yeah, I'm sure it will get sorted, but it's just frustrating when you can't work out what it is, and we're all just scratching our heads because it'll work for an hour, or maybe half an hour, or maybe half a day, and then the problem will start again. So the poor mechanic, I said he must be looking at us. If it was a new mechanic who didn't know us, then I could imagine that he'd be looking at my partner going, are you sure that there's an issue? Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. But this can't stay that colour. This needs to be I don't know if I have a red. I think I do have a red, but do I want the orange? Let's bring in some spiced marmalade because I want to bring... Sorry, I had my back to you. I want to bring in more of this orange, the slight orange here. And if you just look in the shoe, there's slight orange in the shoe. So I think I want to bring that in to this stamped image to bring in some of the orange and possibly even a little bit of the red again. I just kind of want to bring it in and go around. I don't know what this image is. It's just from a set of stamps I've kind of had for years. I sometimes when I'm kind of just sitting in between projects or just wanting to do something that's not too time consuming, I will just sit, and I've also got some wild honey. Sorry, I'm trying to find, I know I've got berries. Hold on. I do have berries, but I also have Bandor. Sometimes I'll just sit and grab a set of stamps and get on some of my little scraps of papers and tea-dyed papers and things, the little scraps like this, and I'll just sit and stamp out a load of images, and that way I have things ready when I want to do other projects. So yeah, that's Distress Ink Bandor. So I can't even tell you where this was because I just went out through my pre-stamped images, and this was the one that caught my attention. So, and I think we're going to add some splatters on here too, possibly. So I'm going to do that. And obviously I need a word. Now I did have a stamped word that I thought would go quite well. So I think I might cut that out. But we might have to back it on something. Maybe even some black cards. So let me see. Love these. And they really do remind me of my boots. Only because they're red and sparkly. Look how sparkly that is. It's so much fun. And I will still have to punch through all of that. So let that dry and then we're going to punch through that. So again, this is another stamp I've got. I'm pretty sure that with sparkly shoes and a new tiara, she could conquer the world. And I just want to have, with sparkly shoes, she could conquer the world. I think I just want that bit of it. So with sparkly shoes. And it's not because, you may think it's because I'm into a huge fan of The Wizard of Oz. I'm not. I mean, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. It's okay, it's a good movie. My kids loved it when they were young. But that's not why I love red shoes. Firstly, red and black are my favourite colours. And secondly, because, as I said, I wear a lot of black, especially as a teen. I mean, everything in my wardrobe was black. Now I mix it up with a few darker colours and some greens and some orange. But I used to love the fact that on my feet, I would have, you know, these boots, these red boots or red shoes or sparkly red. Yeah, I just used to love that with sparkly shoes. Oh, I need the she could conquer the world. Or I wish it was conquered. But there we go. So yeah, I thought this would work well. Yeah, I just like that kind of juxtaposition of really dark clothing and then these, you know, lovely sparkly red shoes. Do I want that across there? Oh my goodness, hold on. Disaster, guys, disaster. So I had the gilding flakes off to the side and obviously I haven't put them back yet. And one of my cats decided to jump up and ended up covered in gilding flakes. So I've just had to de-gild my cat. I mean, they looked very pretty, but it's not really what we want. I just want to see if it would look any better down here. I don't think I want it down there, but it's good to move things around and see what you feel. I mean, it looks okay there too. I mean, it looks okay in both places. I said I didn't want it down there, but now I'm looking at it down there. I don't mind it down there. Doesn't that make sense? And it fills up some of that white space. Let's just have another look. I'm going to put it down there now after saying, I don't think I want it down there. Let's go ahead and glue this lady down. Oh gosh, that was just crafters out there. You know the reality of having pets and crafting. But yeah, I mean, it was my Toffee as well, and Toffee is a tortoiseshell. So all those gilding flakes actually looked amazing on her and looked similar to her coat. But, you know, obviously, I don't want her having to clean herself and then putting gilding flakes in her mouth. Like, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, so. I also got to finish my audiobook on the way as well, because being in the actual recovery van was very noisy and I was very tired. So I left my partner to kind of do any of the real chatting and stuff. And I just looked out the window, enjoyed the sights, and listened to some Agatha Christie. I mean, really, if I had a cup of tea with me, it would have been the perfect situation. I liked it like that. I know I had it slightly over, but I like it like that. Now, I would like to, I have some gold Winsor Newton gold bronze sparkles, and I was thinking about bringing some of those in here, but maybe that's too much gold. Maybe we need some black. So let me just shake this. This needs a good shake. Let me check for my black. Okay, so I actually treated myself to a new bottle of the Winsor ink in black. I wasn't going to, because I remember saying to you all that realistically I wanted to use what I have already. And that included using black acrylics for splatters. But I treated myself to some. And yeah, there we go. That's what I did. Okay, let's also grab a little paint pot so I can just pour some in. This is a brand new bottle, so watch it not want to open for me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is my favourite thing to use for splatters. Oh, no, I've wasted it. Do you know why? It's because it's a full bottle, and so I wasn't expecting it to... No, I'll do something with it. Because I just find that it splatters really well. And again, as I always say to you guys, if you're going to splatter, move off to the side or do it on something else first so you can see if it's fine enough for you. Because I just want it in a few places. I don't want it everywhere. And we can get some on that white bit and kind of tie them in. Like so. Very nice. And I don't think I do want the gold. I was going to, but with the rest, with everything else... Oh, do you know what I haven't done? Were you shouting at me, guys? You were, weren't you? I haven't put anywhere for the prompts. Well, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put them on the other side. they can just go in the pocket there. Realistically, I should have made space here for them, but that's okay. We knew at some point I was going to forget the prompts because it's just going to happen. Okay, so here we go. What do you guys think? I am loving all the shimmer with the shoes and everything else. I'm loving this page. So, a sunset, a pair of shoes, crossword puzzle or Sudoku, a floral motif from a magazine, a piece of aluminium, well, I use the gilding flakes for that, bonus rubber stamping, which we've got twice because both of those are rubber stamped. And that is week 14, guys. I mean, I could just attach it. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put it over the page in that pocket. Yeah, that is this week's Margarete Miller. And I've been able to do it on Monday again. It felt weird putting it up on a different day. I'm going to be honest. So, yes, I hope you enjoyed this one. Please do like, subscribe, comment and share if you have not done so already. I'll be back again soon with another video. As always, I hope you're wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty sun. And don't forget to go outside and watch either the sunrise or sunset. Take the time. So that's it for now, guys. Bye for now.